And we are recording on Friday, July 31st, 2026 at 2:04 p.m. Eastern time with the one and only Mr. Eddie Bravo. And yeah, not to fanboy to you on you too much, but like yeah, one of the I must have watched that episode with you and Alex Jones, episode 9/11. There's one summer where I was doing power washing. I must listen to that episode every day for like 3 months. And I would laugh so fucking hard to the point where I taught myself graphic design and I made this hoodie and it had all the rant. It was basically the transcript of you and Alex talking all over it with all the UFOs and shit. And I'd be wearing it around. People are like, "What is that?" I'm like, there's way too much to explain." But for anybody that by some chance doesn't know who you are, Eddie, could you tell them who you are?
I'm a Mexican raised in Santa Ana, California. A lot of people think I'm a lunatic
No.
for for thinking the world is not a ball, not a spinning ball, and viruses don't exist.
I'm with you. I'm with dude. It's this. I always joke. I don't even know what bullet will kill me when I finally get killed for this podcast. Is it the guys I raise money for fighting human trafficking? Is it the guys talking about, AI became self-aware? Is it the guy I had on this morning from DARPA talking about how CERN cracked time travel back in like 2012 and demons are coming out of the gate? There's nothing you can say that is like too conspiratorial, and it's don't so fuck people that
It's
have.
it's if someone takes you out, it's the human trafficking. That's what it
It'll be
is.
100%. But no, they told me that.
Yeah, you could talk about anything,
You can talk about
but
anything else.
once you start talking about the kids, dude,
That's it.
they'll kill you for that shit.
No, dude, I know 100%. No, so there's this group, and I always brag about it because it's like the thing I've done in life that I'm most proud of is it's called ARC, the Association for the Recovery of Children. It's all these former special forces guys, and they don't take salaries, and they've been doing it since 1993. They rescue kids. It's not some like awareness campaign. Those are good charities too. Though these are guys that go in like night vision, silenced M4s, and they'll go across the border into Mexico, fucking kick down doors and rescue kids. And like through this podcast, there's a handful of wealthy people that watch this show. I was able to get money raised for them last fall, and the guy that runs it, Baz, he's in his 70s now, but former CIA paramilitary officer, and he was like, he goes, if anything gets you, it's not the COVID stuff. It's not. I went and filmed January 6th, and the FBI visited me. I didn't even do anything. I just filmed it. He said, hey, if anything ever gets you, it's that.
Yeah,
It's the
100%.
which
100%.
which to me is worth it. Which to me is worth it. I'm like, if that's how my life goes, then
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up in a nuclear family, private Catholic school, country
Yeah.
club. I've had an incredible life. If I get popped for that, I think that's a worthy way to get. I don't want to get popped, but I feel like that's a worthy way to get popped.
Yeah, probably the most worthy.
Yeah.
They don't care. They don't care if you talk about. They want you to talk about UFOs. Are you
Yes.
kidding?
Yes.
They're trying to get the UFO thing
They're
out.
they're
They're like,
fucking.
it's so fucking obvious. It's so obvious that the UFO disclosure. That's all bullshit. I bought into all that shit because in the early 2000s, a conspiracy theorist was defined by him thinking that the government is hiding UFOs. They're not. They want you to think they're hiding UFOs because they want you to believe in UFOs because they want you to believe in the space they created. The
Hmm.
sun is 93 million miles away. Mars is 140 million miles away. They want you to believe all that shit. So there has to be aliens, and the fake alien invasion. I don't know when
Blue
they're going to
beam.
pull the trigger on that, but that they want to do that. It's just they don't know if they can pull it off because once they fucking greenlight that shit, they can't. If it looks like shit, oh man,
I was talking to a guy this morning that worked for DARPA, and he's talking about how fucked it all. And he works with the group that helps rescue the kids. And we were talking about that this morning. We were like, there's two ways to look at this. And I'm not a sports guy. Obviously, you're a fighting guy, but I would imagine the analogy is if you're at the very end of like the championship fight and you're getting reckless and throwing crazy punches, there's two ways to look at that. You'd say he's desperate and he wants to win, or you'd say he's so certain he has the in the bag, he doesn't give a fuck. What do I care if I break my leg? I already won. He's just going for it. There's two ways to look at this, in my opinion. The fact that they're, COVID to Ukraine to Israel to, build it up with Russia to Bluebeam to AI, to me, this says that they are either so confident that they've won and they're just throwing it all and they don't care how sloppy it is, or they are so fucked it got away from them. This 200 year plan for global domination, something jumped the gun and they're meticulously planning it and it somehow got away. Maybe they didn't foresee the spreading of the internet. Maybe they didn't foresee whatever, that it's getting away from them. Do you have any thoughts on that? That they're pushing it because they've won, or they're pushing it because they're desperate?
I think they're pushing it because they're desperate.
Me
That's
too.
yeah, yeah. But I don't know shit. I'm just guessing. But I was balls deep in the government is hiding UFOs,
Same.
But then eventually the rabbit hole leads you to, oh shit. Because I used to think, look, the former Pentagon official is talking about how he saw aliens and it's got to be true. Oh, look, a Navy pilot is saying how he saw a UFO in the sky and it was on his radar. I used to think that would make it more believable
Sure.
that it was a government official. But now I'm like, of course,
They're
they,
rolling it out.
I don't think they're in on it. I think they believe it. I think
I think
they
those
get
guys
set
believe
up.
it. I think
They
they
get
believe
set
their
up.
accounts. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because if you're like Bob Lazar, I think he was
Yeah.
set, because Bill Cooper, Bill Cooper is right.
Uh-huh.
Like he was set up and he believed UFOs were real at first, but then the more he dug into it, and he worked for the Office of Naval Intelligence, and
Uh-huh.
they set his ass up because his job was to set up the documents for like these high level meetings with the top of the Navy and all that. So he would set up these documents, and then he would see that they were talking about UFOs. He was like, oh shit, and then he's like turning the piece like, oh shit, UFOs are real. Meanwhile, he was set up, because they knew they set up drunks who talk a lot, who have like their own little radio shows and they got big mouths. Those are the guys they set up. So it's way better if they actually believe it as opposed to like they take in Bill Cooper and say, hey, listen, we want to lie to the people about UFOs. We need you to lie about it. We need you to say this and say that. It would never work because it wouldn't be convincing. And plus the guy might just say, fuck you, I ain't doing
Yeah.
that shit. So it's always better to make them believe it, just like newscasters. I would say, a couple of them are in on it. I would say like
And,
Anderson
and Anderson
Cooper.
Cooper, he is
I
in
would
on.
say, yeah, he knows what's
The
really
rest of
going
them
on.
truly believe they're covering the news.
But I would say most other newscasters, um, they believe what they're saying because they're getting, their sources are like FBI and CIA, so they believe like, damn,
This
you
is
know.
legit.
I think like Mark Zuckerberg, I think he probably believed that, when he was like banning all these people, for talking about like whatever, like ivermectin back in the scamdemic. I think he believed that like when they
It
when
was national
the
security.
FBI told him that, hey, Russia is going
Is
to start releasing some shit about Hunter Biden's laptop. So let's squash that. And it would be better for the people at the top to not let Zuckerberg know like the real agenda. Get him to think that he's actually doing the right thing. You know what I mean? I
and
think
it,
that's what's going on. A lot of people, and then when they wake up, like Tucker Carlson, for instance, I think you know um, most of the media, 90% of the media is left wing, but the left wing they gotta have some opposition. So the left wing creates Fox. So they create it's like just controlled opposition, and it's always been
dialectic.
controlled opposition, right? So they needed a Fox. We need a conservative Republican side, but it's controlled opposition. It really is coming from the left. But since all the Republican candidates were fucking rhinos anyways. It doesn't matter what, like the job for the people on Fox were whatever is going on, you push the Republican. It doesn't matter. So the people at the very top of Fox, which were probably on the same team as the left, they didn't give a shit because they got the Republican candidate in their pocket anyways. So it didn't matter if Fox would say great shit about John McCain or fucking Mitt Romney or whatever. So that's how that. But then Trump comes in and he's representing Republicans, and he, I don't know how you feel about Trump, but I think
I didn't
he
vote in
was
2016. I voted for him in 2020 and 2024, and I don't know how I feel about him now. But no, I'm not Orange Man bad. I'm not.
okay. Okay, so I think what happened was, okay, now Trump isn't a rhino. I don't think he's a rhino. And maybe they got shit on him now. Maybe he's blackmailed now. Maybe all the yarmulke shit and kissing the wall and all
Something
that shit.
happened.
Maybe they got him blackmailed. You know what I mean? Maybe they do, because what's going on? You know,
It
uh, it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. Is it 5D chess? What's going on? I don't know. But initially, they went after his ass for a fucking reason. That shit wasn't fake. When they went after him, they gave him the worst shit. First, they made him a racist. He's not a racist. Then they made him a Russian agent. He's not a
Russia.
Russian agent. Then they made him a rape. Now he's a rape. They
And
gave
then
him
they
the
stole the
worst
fucking
shit.
election.
They
And then the
fucking
FBI raided Mar-a-Lago with orders to shoot to kill. And then they tried to blow his fucking head off in Butler. Like, to me, so
yeah.
where I come in
So
is I go, that wasn't theater. Political
yeah,
theater is
yeah,
real.
yeah,
That
yeah,
wasn't theater.
yeah.
So they
So
do
so
hate him. Does that make him our guy? That's the
yeah,
question.
so they're really going after him. That shit ain't fake. All that
No.
fucking crossfire hurricane and Obama and John McCain, or not John McCain,
John Brennan.
John Brennan, all those motherfuckers. I know John Brennan's a demon. I know
It,
Obama's a demon, and all those motherfuckers were going after. They were going after him. That wasn't fake.
no.
So I don't know what's going on now, but I think, like, now Fox is forced to cover Trump, and they're like,
Yeah.
fuck. So the people at the top, they can't tell the newscasters like Tucker, like, hey, listen, this is what's going on. I know your job is to push everything red, but not this motherfucker. So they
Yeah.
couldn't really say that, because then it would give up the game. So a lot of these newscasters that are flipping, the ones that are flipping, they were controlled opposition that didn't know they were controlled opposition. Like, I think Tucker was controlled opposition the whole time. It was easy. He's just blowing up, Mitt Romney. He's just blowing up, just the rhinos. But now Trump's not a rhino. He's representing the Republicans. They're going, fuck. Like, what do we do? They didn't know what to do. So they eventually had to cut Tucker. And then now I think Tucker is I think he was deep in it, and he was in DC, and his he comes. I think his
Dad was CIA.
yeah, all that shit. But you know, I think he, like, when he talks, I think 90% of the time he's
I think he had
I
an
believe,
I
I
think
believe what he,
he had some sort of dark night of the soul or enlightenment. In my humble opinion,
yeah, yeah,
something I'm not going to say is 100% perfect because I'm not, you're not.
yeah,
I do believe, and maybe I'm getting taken for a ride. I
yeah,
do believe he's in the weird spot we all are. At whatever point you wake up, like I said, I've been into this shit since when we first came on. You were probably like, you think I'm crazy. I'm like, no, Eddie, I've been listening to you forever. I'm on board with you. When people wake up, as the comedian Tim Dillon says, when you go your entire life believing Fox News or CNN, and then in 1 year you go down pizza hole and satanic cannibals, your brain melts and it's disorienting. I think that's somewhere. I think Tucker, in my opinion, I think he represents that. That's a guy who's disoriented, but I think he is trying to figure it out,
yeah.
in my
You
opinion.
have a sponsor that it's about, like, not marriage counseling, but like a self realization, like self therapy, like a
I
therapist.
do.
Yes,
I have I have a
you
sponsor.
don't.
Do I?
Oh, okay. Maybe someone's just throwing ads. Maybe YouTube is just throwing ads, but The
Were they
person
popping up when you did you watch my show and it was popping up?
well, this is what happened. Jessica, our
Yeah.
mutual friend, she's the one who hooked this up. She asked me if I would do your podcast, and I love Jessica and Paul and what they're doing with the farm.
Yeah.
They're awesome. They're amazing people.
Yeah.
So of course I'm gonna. But before I said, of course, I was just automatically gonna say it. But I looked into you a little bit, and then the commercial popped up. It was about, Jessica goes, "Oh, I love this podcast. It's one of my favorite podcasts. Would you do it?" And when I clicked on it, the commercial came up, but I thought it was the podcast, and it was a commercial on
For marriage counseling.
marriage,
You're like,
like
fuck this
self
shit.
help, but like female self help. And I was like, oh
Oh
my
fuck.
god, oh my god.
No,
And I was
no,
like,
dude.
I was about to text Jessica and say, I love you, dog, but
Thanks, but no thanks.
what the fuck do you want me doing this podcast for? And I swear
No,
to
dude.
God, it was and now, then I thought about it and go, I guess I'll fucking do it. I don't know what the hell I'm going to say.
No,
But
man.
then I looked deeper into it. Then I saw your actual podcast. I'm like, oh
No,
shit.
dude, like the UFO, satanic cannibal, like fucking the AGI, transhumanism, fuck these people. Yeah, no. The very reason I don't make money on this show is the things I say. But like,
Yeah.
it's not fun otherwise. But like that, no, I've had on fucking wild guests over the years, and like, but that's been the thing is I've never held back, and it's not to go down a whole circle jerk, but like that's what I've always had the most fun of is just talking to people, and it is inadvertently landed me like some of the biggest guests because. They see it's all I've had on Roseanne Barr like 10 times. Like it's I've become friends with people who I shouldn't be friends with, but because I have no agenda. I guess I do have an agenda. I don't like the pedophiles and I would like for life to go on. I'm not anti-human. I'd say those are my two parameters. Like
Yeah.
that's a pretty loose thing. Um to the UFOs. I was always in it. I always, because, reading about Skunk Works and, Ben Rich, who said back in the 70s, he was like, Lockheed Martin has things 50 years ahead. And I think his quote is, it would take an act of God to get these black projects at 0 point energy and all that stuff. And I believe he believes what he was saying. But even Bob Lazar, and I've read his books, I think he believes what he's saying. I think what you're saying is correct is what we saw with COVID is, when I would do these episodes about, I'm like, this is horse shit. These vaccines are hurting people. People would always roll their eyes and go, you think they're all in on it? I'm like, no, I don't think the local nurse is in on it. As a matter of fact, I think 99.999% of people are not in on it. They're doctors who think they're doing the right. As somebody that got into med school, you think you're doing the right thing. You think you're doing the Hippocratic Oath. We're trying to help others. I think that's the real insidious nature of it. Is you probably do have guys in the disclosure movement. They probably truly believe that they're disclosing this and that they're disclosing this technology, which ostensibly could radicalize the world. It could change everything. If there's infinite energy, then that means there's infinite seawater desalination. There's infinite resource extraction. You're talking about getting rid of poverty and hunger. It's a beautiful thing to believe you're a part of. I don't think that's what's going on though. I think it's evil at the very top. And that's kind of what you were touching on earlier. I don't know if you want to go back to that.
Well, uh, in regards to the scamdemic, they say that hospitals got around 30K per COVID death, right?
Oh, it was tiered. 30K for remdesivir, I think 45 for excuse me, for respirator death. And then it was tiered further. Like how long were they in there? They were making
And
bank.
and you know, the people at the top, they wanted as many deaths as possible. They wanted the numbers to skyrocket. But you don't tell the hospitals that the ones you're paying, they told them they were getting paid because they were doing dangerous work and they were putting their lives at risk.
You're
They
you're
deserve it.
heroes. You're heroes.
So you're getting paid for being a hero. Instead of the reality is you're getting paid because we know how greedy you're going to get if we pay you, and there had to be at least one hospital out of the thousands of hospitals in the United States. There had to be a one. If you're smart, if you're like at the top of the hospital and you're getting, 40K per COVID death, that's that's kind of lucrative. You would think that they would tell the same thing to like the nurses, like, listen, you're putting your life on the line for us. You're a hero. So you're going to get paid for it. Okay. I know this is a dangerous job. COVID's going to kill everybody. So for every COVID death, I'll give you like $900. Is that cool? I would do that if I was an evil, motherfucking greedy.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So then all of a
absolutely.
sudden, the nurses think that they're being told they're getting paid
They're
per
frontline
COVID.
infantry.
Dude, I would incentivize the nurses. So then after a while, the nurses might just go, you know what? Let this motherfucker die. Let's give him some more remdesivir. Let's give him that ventilator. You know what I mean? And then they start their checks start blowing up, and they're like, damn, it's good when people die. I, I think there has to be one hospital, at least one hospital that got involved in that kind of shit. Like, kill this motherfucker. Let's make that money. You know what I mean? Baby.
No, way more than one. I think you're being very generous. I would say it's probably hard to find a hospital that didn't do that.
Hey, I'm not saying that. You
I
said that.
am. I am. I don't give a fuck.
No, but you
Also,
know what I mean.
yeah,
I'm
yeah, no, no,
talking
no.
about
Well,
kill this nigga.
I had nurses on here who were fired for not doing the remdesivir thing, and they would come on my show and tell their story. There were several actually interviews I did that inadvertently ended up as court testimony. They're playing my podcast in court. Yeah, to get these women off. Yeah, no, dude, it is dirt. I mean, so when I had on Dr. Robert Malone, right? I had him on July 1st, 2021, and the mRNA patent holder, and I had called his farm. I was living in Maryland at the time, and I called his farm, got in touch with his wife, who's also a physician, and I asked to have him on my podcast to talk because I was like, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. And because I had on different doctors, and I was like, I'm just going to go up the chain of command until I found the guy that invented the thing. Like if I wanted to, say if I wanted to talk to Eddie Bravo, I'd be like, well, I'll talk to somebody that wrote a book on him, and then I'll be like, I'll talk to somebody that knows him, and eventually I would get to a point where I'd be like, can I just talk to Eddie? And so I got all the way up to Dr. Malone. And the weirdest thing was, is so at the time I had less than 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, a nothing channel. And when I got in touch with him and asked him to do my show, and instead of the usual me thanking him, hey man, thank you for your time, blah, 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 he started thanking me, saying, I can't get on any news stations to talk about this. And that the hairs on my neck stood up. I'm like, how is it that you can only get on my show? Obviously later that year he went on Rogan, but like that to me was that's one of the things that early on I went, oh, this is fucked. This is absolutely fucked.
Yeah.
So no, no, and that got me banned. That got me all this shit. But no, it's. I think it went to the highest level, and I think it absolutely had to do with depopulation. Which, again, like you said, putting your head in the mind of the hospital person. That's not saying we agree with it. I always look at this. I always go, let's look at it as a video game. Just detach entirely. What would you do? Man, if I wanted to depopulate large amounts of the world, I wouldn't do it like they did last century, where they round you up and put you on death camps. It looks bad. There's revolutions. People kick back. What I would do is a series of shots rolled out under the guise of you're protecting grandmother, and I would have it do what it's doing, which is it doesn't necessarily it kills some people right away, a decent portion of people right away, but what it really does is it affects reproduction. And I've had on OBGYNs who are talking about how we're having a 1 in 400,000 year uptick in miscarriages. Think about that. A 1 in 400,000 year uptick. I think it's a slow
Explain those
genocide.
numbers. I'm not. What is that? Can you translate that in layman terms?
Every year you have statistical anomalies and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
The amount, the amount of miscarriages that started in 2022 after a year of the vax can only, if explained purely by probability, is something that should happen once every 400,000 years, or
Mm.
roughly 40 times between now and the Fertile Crescent when society started. Meaning, if you left it to probability alone, what are the chances Eddie has a hangover and he just smells like alcohol, but he's never drank alcohol? I don't know, 1 in 400,000 years. What's the more likely
So,
answer?
so,
He was
so,
drinking
so,
alcohol.
so, like, what is like, if you said miscarriages in 2020 or 2021 when the vaccine got rolled out, miscarriages went up 3,000%, or like from the normal, like what's the average? The average per year would be like,
Like the fluctuation, it goes up and up, and like I don't know what the actual percentage was, but they said if explained by probability alone, this would be something that would happen 2 times every 1 million years. If you
yeah,
remove just probability and go, well, did something else happen in 2021 that hasn't happened before? Oh, we did roll
yeah,
out this vaccine. And do you know the place where it had the vaccine where the mRNA in the liposomes where it had the most affinity, the place where it stuck the most was in all the endometrial lining of the reproductive organs. So it was targeted there, which tells me
yeah,
that this
yeah.
is a very
I never,
slow multi-generation genocide.
yeah, I I don't know shit. I didn't
Me
go to
neither. This is
college.
all from the doctors I've interviewed.
I graduated high school a semester early. I took extra auto shop classes to just get the fuck out of school, and I moved to Hollywood to be a rock star. You know that was the plan. I don't know shit, but it to me, based on all the stuff I've seen and read on YouTube, it looks like vaccines were never supposed to be for health. Like vaccines were always designed to injure you and to create lifetime customers for big pharma. And like it doesn't seem like any of the vaccines, like, because when you really look into it, there's a group of doctors and they're growing bigger and bigger, um, and they're denouncing germ theory and diving right into terrain theory. And Andrew Kaufman, he's he's the best one. I mean, they're basically saying viruses are a fucking hoax. There are no viruses, and viruses don't cause shit. And it's all like, so when you hear uh like what's going on now with Fauci, like, oh, it turns out Fauci was lying. The virus didn't come from wild animals at a wet market. It actually leaked from a lab. So right now the whole thing is like, oh, the conspiracy theorists were right. It did leak from a lab.
And you're
So
saying
now
no, there was no.
they're talking about it leaked from a lab. It leaked from a lab. I'm like, nothing leaked from a fucking lab. They're not doing shit at these labs. In my opinion, it's just like that Doge. Like you want to launder some money? You want to get that free subsidized tax money? Open a virology lab and you'll get all this money coming and say, "Oh, look, we're doing gain of function. We're studying viruses and we're altering them to do this and to do that. We're doing gain." Like, in my opinion, they're not doing shit.
Money laundering.
They're not doing shit. They ain't no gain of fucking function. Like, the
You,
reality is they're just stealing money. Because if
you go
they,
into those labs, it's just three dudes fucking playing solitaire
they're not doing nothing. They're
in
not like,
hazmat suits.
I don't think they're doing shit. Like, because if this virus leaked from a lab, that's the shittiest gain of function virus ever. Let's say viruses are real. That thing was the worst fucking virus ever. Because you know what? During the whole fucking heart of the scamdemic in 2020, I have 230 jujitsu schools. We didn't close. We just closed the front and we just kept training. And jujitsu is the opposite of social distancing. We're not just close together.
You're
We're
you're exchanging you're
squeezing each
exchanging
other
sweat.
and grinding and squeeze. And then every 8 minutes we get a new dude, and we're just doing we're like we're like the canary in the coal mine.
Yeah.
If COVID was real, if viruses were real, jujitsu would have been wiped out. I would have been wiped out. You know how many people died in worldwide on 230 schools? This is my jujitsu association. There's many. Zero died. Zero died. Zero died. People got the flu, and then they say, "Oh, I got COVID." Like, no, motherfucker, you got the flu.
Yeah, the thing.
That was the trick. It was always the flu. It was That's what they used. They used the flu because
Yeah, the
everyone
flu
was
went
going to
down
get
to
the flu,
zero that year.
and then
Yeah.
they pretend that they like, oh my god, 3 new cases in Seattle, and then Miami we have 33 new cases. Like, meanwhile, it's just people getting the flu, them believe in CNN, run into the hospital and go, oh my God, I got this thing that I saw on TV, this COVID thing. Oh my God. And they go, yeah, let us get
I'm
you
in
on a
here.
respirator, you know? So it was a complete hoax. There was nothing spreading. There's no spreading. People don't get people sick. In my opinion, people don't get people sick. You get sick on your own. You're eating so much fucking bullshit. It's all in your food. I think like a lot of like I don't know shit again. I'm just like guessing,
Go for
but
it.
they come up with new shit to cover up like what's really fucking you up, like the pesticides. People think like, oh, I'm healthy. I'm eating a fucking salad from Cheesecake Factory. You know that shit got pesticides all over. What do you think? You're healthy? You're eating unless it's organic and there's no pesticides, like what Jessica and her husband are doing. That's a beautiful thing. I think all the way what they're doing, that regenerative farming with zero pesticides, that's the way to go. But that's so rare. You go to any restaurant, you're like, oh, I'm eating healthy. I'm gonna get a chicken salad. Guess what? That chicken ain't organic. That salad has pesticides on it, like the glyphosate or whatever the fuck. All that's the shit that's fucking you up. So I think they got to come up with shit to deflect and go, you know what? Let's tell them fucking receipts. Let's tell them receipts are fucking you up. So
The
everyone's
receipts
afraid
have
to touch a
the
receipt. Everybody's afraid, like, oh, that's gonna fuck you up. It's gonna give you cancer. But it might. It might. Receipts might give you
sure.
cancer. But I would think like, hey, let's put it out there. Let's put it in the news that receipts are giving people cancer. So now everyone's afraid to take receipts. Like a few years ago, like you go to Whole Foods and they go, "Would you like a receipt?" They would ask you if you want a receipt. And now so few people are taking receipts because they're scared to death of receipts. And me too. I don't know. They don't say, "Would you like a receipt?" They go, "You don't want a receipt, do you?" And they're like, "You're right, bitch. Are you trying to kill me? I don't want no goddamn receipt. Get that shit away from me." And then I don't know. Maybe receipts give you cancer. I'm just fucking. I'm a maniac. I'm a lunatic. But also with like the
You're not a lunatic. Stop calling yourself a
microplastics,
lunatic. You're not a
like
lunatic.
microplastics, like that's a big fucking thing. You see that all over the news. Mike, oh, you drink a plastic bottle, and then like there's really like plastic particles, like it comes off the bottle. Maybe that's true. Maybe microplastics are fucking everybody up, and it's not the food that we're eating. You
You ever
know what I mean? It's not the fucking air that we're fucking breathing. They're like spraying the skies. It's like right in fucking front of you, and everyone's just driving to work. Like they're making tic tac toe.
in the yeah the aerosol injection the strategic aerosol inject. It's like if you ever watch those videos on YouTube where it's like two things they'll do. It's like they go back to some of the earliest cameras, so it's like the 20s, and then what they would do in the 1920s is they would find the oldest people they could. So it was like a camera in the 1920s interviewing someone who was already 100 years old. So you're getting this peek into the life of somebody from like 18. Like there are people with memories who are like, "Oh yeah, no, my uncle like knew Washington." It's so weird. And
Yeah,
but the one thing you look about like all of them, they're all like 116. They're all dressed in like a three-piece suit, just ripping cigs, drinking whiskey, and you're like, they're fine. They look healthier than most 50-year-olds. And they're
yeah.
just out there, either wrinkly or they got beards down to their balls. But you talked, but the one thing you look at all of them is they're like, yeah, I was born 1804 and and it's the year of the Lord 1916. And it's like, I try to drink less than a gallon of gin a day, but sometimes the devil gets me. And you're looking at them, you're like, this motherfucker never took whey protein. Like,
Dude, there's a bunch of videos like that. Can you send me those videos? I
yeah,
want to.
yeah, yeah. I'll make a note of it. I'll do it after, dude. Because you look at all of it, and it's like it's fascinating because the historical aspect where you're like, oh, here's a guy whose grandpa fought in the Revolutionary. But the thing that always gets me is like they're so old, and it's not one, it's multiple, and they're all sitting around. They're all sharp as a tack. They're all talking to each other. They're all getting together on a Sunday evening talking, and you're like, dude, I know 50-year-olds who are not nearly as coherent as them. And these are people who never that took a multivitamin in their life.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I'll make a note of it.
Yeah, send me that shit. That sounds because
Eddie Hepburn.
I don't know how deep down the rabbit hole you've gotten on like Tartaria and old world
Yeah, the
stuff.
mud
Are you-
flood and shit. Yeah, I entertain all of it. I have no. Some people are like, well, I don't like that one. I come into it as this. I know fucking nothing, and I don't have an emotional tie up on anything. I'll talk about my one law is this. If somebody comes on the show and goes, I want to talk about how age is just a number, fuck you. That's a pedophile. You have to get out. That's the one rule. I'll open up to anything. No, I've looked into Tartaria, the mud flood, all this shit, where it's like, why did things look so much more advanced in the 1880s? Why did they have those like
yeah,
all electric monorails in like 1902?
yeah. You know what? They
There's
had.
nothing you can say on the show that I'm against.
Have you got into food forests yet? Food forests?
No.
Damn. So the first level of the old world is these, there's all these buildings and structures uh in every city that they claim that they built in like 1820
But
or
they dig them out
they're
and
palaces. They're palaces, and it turns out that they're like power stations. They're harnessing. They all have the same two towers that go up. They got these like copper, tops that somehow harness
free
electricity from
energy.
the air.
Yeah.
So they had free energy. They had food forests. They had free food. Like apparently, wherever every city's got a big ass park. Like New York got Central Park. Parks used to be food forests. There were all these trees that had all this food on, like fruit and all this stuff, and it was self-sustaining. You didn't the roots all connected underneath of all the trees, and they like communicated with each other or something. But when you got hungry, you went to the park and you ate, and you had free energy. So the reset was like, we got to get rid of the free energy. We got to get rid of the free food. How are we going to control people? We got to control the food. We got to control the energy. We got to control the water. We got to control the air. And that's what's going on right now. They control the air with the chemtrails. They control the water with the fluoride. They control the food with all the fucking pesticides and all the shit and GMOs that they're putting in them. Um, they got us by the balls. I mean, it's
For now.
so with the
I'm
old
a
world,
big optimist. They have us for
like
now.
think of Tesla, Nikolai
Yeah.
Tesla. They got he died in 1947, right? There's
The
not
FBI raided his
there's
apartment, took
no
all his shit.
he got scrubbed. He got scrubbed from the history books. There's no audio interviews with this guy. There's no video interviews with this guy. They scrubbed him. So the narrative with Nikolai Tesla is like, oh, he had this crazy idea that he was going to give free energy to the world, and he got all his ideas from spirits. He was insane. He got all his ideas from spirits, and he was trying to give free energy to the whole world. Meanwhile, that's not what he was doing.
Not at all.
He was there was a bunch of Teslas. He was just the real famous one. There was a bunch of scientists. He was just one of them. They were trying to reverse engineer all the shit from the old world, the free energy stuff. That's what they were trying to do. He didn't come up with the shit. He was trying to reverse
They
engineer
found
all
it.
the old world, all the Tartaria stuff, and they made him out to be a fucking lunatic. And then when he died, they took all his shit, and Donald Trump's uncle
Donald
took all
Trump's
his shit.
uncle. Yeah, they took all
That's
of this
crazy.
shit. Yeah,
And they made him
FBI and
look like
customs.
a lone nut, a lone crazy dude who got ideas from spirits. And there's no audio interview of him. There's no video. It's almost like he didn't exist.
And you know
So
what? And if you do read his writings, he never talked about spirits. What he talked about was deep meditation. He would say that there is a central intelligence in the universe. And I think his quote is, I have yet to probe its centers, only its peripheries. And already that's where he got the ideas of everything he had. It was not crazy at all. He was talking almost like the Akashic records. He was saying like there is
yeah,
a central thing that, and it wasn't a physical place. What he was saying was, it's actually very it's actually very divine, is almost biblical of you can, and the kingdom of heaven is in all men. He would say there is a core in the universe. It's more in your mind where you can reach all knowledge. It's all there. It has no agenda, and it's for you to use. And
Yeah,
I've been meditating every day since 2008. That's what anyone that has done deep meditation knows. Like, you do find this sort of deeper understanding. It's a humbling understanding. You know that you know nothing, but you also know that you're coming about something that is entirely, it's not the kind of information you get from studying. It's something completely different. And I think that's what he was touching into. And whether he was
yeah,
inventing it or reverse engineering it, it's all the same general idea of abundance. This life can be a beautiful life, almost Garden of Eden-esque. And then you have a bunch of demons come in and they're like, fuck it, how can we charge you?
yeah. The best documentary I could recommend on all the old world stuff is called Old World Order. Have you seen it?
No, I'll make
It's
a note of it.
Old World Order. You probably have to go to, I think you can find it on YouTube. It got banned from YouTube, but I think one dude has it uploaded. But it's for sure on Rumble. Old World Order. You watch that? That's the greatest
All
documentary on
right.
the old world. Um, and also, there's this new YouTube video that Eric Dubay just dropped called 50 Government Documents That Prove Flat Earth. It just came out. It used to be Rob Skiba was he put out a video, I don't, do you know who Rob Skiba is?
No.
He's a Earth researcher, and he put out 10 documents, like a video, 10 documents, that government documents that have nothing to do with flat Earth, round Earth. These are like NASA military documents about um, calculating the motion of missiles and high altitude aircraft, like getting the numbers. Like, if a missile is going 1,500 miles an hour and it's the trajectory is like whatever degrees, in how many seconds will it meet this point? Like, this is like rocket science in regards to calculating the motion of missiles and high altitude aircraft, like the SR-1, whatever, like all that shit.
SR-71 Blackbird, yeah.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with, is the world round?
No, you're
Is
just
the
you're
sun
talking
really?
about, yeah, you're talking about
We're talking
trajectories.
about on
Yeah.
on. They're talking about NASA documents where they have to have the numbers correct.
Yeah, as a mutual
Yeah, they're
yeah.
like calculating. They're calculating the motion of missiles that have a certain amount of liquid on it, and how the liquid can alter
Well, and then as you
the
burn the
missile
fuel, you become lighter and yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
trajectory and the motion. So the numbers have to be correct. And these documents, all the formula, every single one. Now with AI, they're finding a whole shitload of them. Now there's 50. They found 50 documents, and they're all based on the same thing: calculating the motion of high altitude aircraft and missiles. And all of them in the formula, all of them say, to get the numbers right, you have to assume that the Earth is flat and it's not rotating. You have to assume that the world is flat and not everything. Number one rule in the formulation: we're trying to calculate. The numbers got to be right. You're trying to calculate the trajectory and where things intercept in the
Yeah,
sky.
yeah, yeah.
The sky or whatever. Everyone, all of them, in they say you must assume a flat, non-rotating Earth. And the only thing, like the people that still, the ballers that still believe, like, I mean, the government's proven it. There's all these documents. You can watch this video where they go through all the documents, all of them, and it's all rocket science type shit. Like the title of the documents are like, I don't even fucking really understand what the fuck. There's
Gibberish.
hydraulic, fucking whatever. So in other words, to get the numbers right, you have to assume that the craziest conspiracy theory ever, the most ridiculed conspiracy theory ever, is true.
You have
You
to
have to
accept that
you
as
have
the
to
premise.
assume you have to assume that the craziest, most ridiculed conspiracy theory, the flat Earth, is true to get the correct numbers. And the documents also say they'll even discuss if you do the calculations based on a spherical Earth with the circumference being roughly 25,000 miles, the numbers are going to be off. To get the numbers right, you have to assume a flat, non-rotating, the exact opposite of what they're telling you we're on. What's the opposite of a ball? Flatness. What's the opposite of rotating? Non-rotating. So the people that refuse to see what's going on here, they'll say, oh, they're only doing that to simplify the equation, to make it easy. They're because they're rocket fucking scientists. What are you talking about? If you're telling me a fucking sniper has to adjust for the Coriolis effect, which is also bullshit, if you're telling me, which no snipers do, but the idea exists because if we are on a ball spinning, you would have to calculate for the rotation of the, you would. So that's what the Coriolis effect is. Because, oh, if we're spinning at 1,000 miles at the equator, then yes, you would have to adjust. So, but they never do. They don't. They say, they go, yeah, you'd have to, but no sniper adjusts for the fucking spinning of the Earth. They adjust for like wind and maybe
humidity and
the drop off, like humidity, but they never do. But the crazy thing is like, but you have to adjust for the Coriolis effect if you're going to shoot something. But if you're calculating the motion of missiles, you don't have to do that. As a matter of fact, you don't even have to be close to a ball. Like if they adjusted from a ball to like a soccer ball type thing, which is almost like a ball, but just to simplify things, it's going to be like whatever that hexagon, whatever the whatever it's a name like
a dodecahedron, whatever the fuck.
Yes. So that would make sense. Okay, we're gonna have to
simplify it, call it a ball.
Yeah, but it's the opposite. You're using the crazy conspiracy theory that the Earth is flat, non-rotating. For all 50 documents talk about that. You want, because in this research, it's not about space, it's not about Earth, it's about calculating the motion of missiles. Your shit gotta be fucking on point. And you're telling me these rocket scientists, they need to simplify shit and make it flat, the opposite of a ball, and non-rotating, the opposite of rotating? What the fuck are you talking about? Snipers got to adjust for Coriolis effect, but rocket scientists from NASA don't.
Yeah, shooting even farther away.
50 government documents that prove flat Earth by Eric Dubay. Watch that shit, and you're like.
I was talking to my brother the other day. I'm like, I'm having Eddie Bravo on, and he's like, that's like the most controversial thing. And I went, it got me laughing. I went, flat Earth is actually the least controversial thing.
Yeah, nothing. I think we're spinning million because according to NASA, to make all the numbers work with the 93 million miles away, the sun is 93. You know how fucking far 93 fucking million miles away. The sun is fucking right there. You look right at the sun. That's not 93 million miles. That looks like maybe 3,000 miles away. It's fucking close. The sun is local. It's close. It's not 93, but this is what we're on. We're not moving at all. But NASA says that the Earth is spinning 1,000 miles an hour
at the equator,
and then the Earth itself is spinning around the sun.
I think it's 144
at
or is it 80?
60,000 miles an hour.
Okay,
60,000 miles an hour. It's going around the sun, and then the sun is spinning around the center of the Milky Way at 600,000 miles an hour.
And then the Milky Way is moving at 2.5 million.
Exactly. So we're spinning. If you think we're
4 or 5 dimensions,
directions at speeds you can't even see, there's something wrong with you. You're in a trance. You're in a NASA trance. We're not spinning. We're fucking still. If we were spinning at those speeds in four different directions, not even just one direction. Even if it was just one direction.
Centrifuge.
We're only spinning one way, and we're spinning at the 60,000 miles an hour, like around the sun. That's still fucking retarded. But then you're gonna go, the sun is spinning also. You never stop feeling spinning. All right. People say, oh, you don't feel it because when you're on a plane is going 500 miles an hour and you don't feel it. Yeah, because the plane is going straight and you feel acceleration and you feel when it decelerates. You feel when it's spinning, because spinning, you look it up in Chat GPT, spinning is a form of acceleration. So on a plane, you only feel acceleration, slowing down, speeding up, or spinning. Like when a plane starts turning, you don't stop feeling that turn until it stops turning. Like
Yeah.
if you're at a carnival ride where it spins and you're stuck against the wall, you don't stop feeling that thing. You could be on that thing for 2 weeks and you're still gonna feel it. You'll never get to a point where I don't even feel the spinning no more because I'm so used to it. That's retarded. You're gonna be stuck to the wall the whole time. You're gonna feel it until that fucking thing stops spinning, right? You feel it. So when people say we don't feel spinning through space because it's like a plane. You don't feel it at all. You're going 500 because if the plane was spinning at 60,000 miles an hour, you'd fucking feel it the whole time. So
I thought
I think that's the biggest. People say like, why are you even focused on flat Earth? That's like a psyop, and I'm like, dude, if you don't give a fuck that they're lying about what this is and what we're on, shit,
and
then
that's
you don't care about the truth.
and
Then that
that's
means you don't care
no,
about the truth.
and that is like a base. One I was gonna say is somebody was like, "That's a very controversial thing," and it made me laugh because I went, "You know what? It's actually the least controversial. It has nothing to do with Republicans or Democrats. It has nothing to do with wealth inequality. It has nothing to do with gender." And I'm like, it's actually the most like egalitarian conspiracy. It has nothing to do with China versus America. I'm like, it's actually pretty vanilla as far as
Yeah,
it goes. It's actually pretty like, what are you talking about conspiracy? It's actually nothing to do with JFK. It's like, it's actually, I thought it was funny. But the other thing and so when had on a Flat Earth Dave a while back, Dave Weissman, and he made a good point where because he was like he's like, so what's like the common argument? And I was like, well, and he and I had like a good faith discussion, and I was like, the common argument would be like, well, whether the Earth is flat or not, like I have to go to work tomorrow, and it's like, okay, okay, that's not wrong, but his point is like, if this it's like saying, hey, Truman, what does it matter if you're in the Truman Show? It doesn't, in terms of you still have food, you still gotta fuck your wife and all that. But he was like, to say it doesn't matter, to say the thing you exist in is not what you think it is, that is actually the biggest thing.
it
Because if it's
is.
not what it is, then all the other conspiracies pale in comparison. Fuck the whole, it happened here, it happened there. It was a virus. It was a virus that leaked. No, there is no virus. That all pales in comparison if your very baseline of what your physical world is not. That is the ultimate demoralization, hypernormalization. That is the total dissociation, which is why I'm agnostic on it. I'm open to it. I'm not married to any of this shit. It If that's how you wanted to totally shatter the minds of the people you rule, that's what you would do.
Totally. Yeah, it does matter to me. But most flat earthers are like beyond the flat earth. We don't even really discuss it too much. We're all into the old world. Okay, this is some kind of puddle that we're in. Let's get into the history of it. Like, how
Well,
does it
what is
work?
it? Yeah.
It's like Westworld. You know what I mean? I gotta take off in about 5 minutes.
No,
So
dude, no, no, we can. Holy shit, we went an hour. I didn't even realize that. I'm sorry, dude. We just buzzed through an hour. I thought we were doing like 20 minutes. No, we'll wrap it up now, man. Dude, that was awesome. That might have been the fastest hour I've done. Holy shit. I was
yeah,
like,
that was
you're like
good.
5 minutes. I was like, I thought we were gonna run it out. It's 2:58. Fuck me. All right, no, we'll wrap it up, dude. That was fun as fuck, Eddie. Dude, my podcast is yours. Anytime you want to come on and shoot the shit, brother, I would enjoy that thoroughly. I love it.
And you're gonna do mine now. You owe me.
Yeah,
I want to get into your whole journey.
yeah. Oh, dude, I'd love to.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, we have my email. I'll email you my number and I'll send you those videos to the YouTube guys. Eddie, That was so much. I'm not, dude, I'm not sucking your dick. That was the fastest hour I've done. This is episode 2107. That was the quickest hour I've fucking done. That was awesome. So,
Well,
dude,
thanks for having me, dude. I appreciate
Eddie,
it. I had
thank you,
fun.
man. I love you, brother. That was
I love you too.
perfect. All right, I'll email you. Till next time, Eddie Bravo, thank you for your time, sir. It's a flat earth. All right, guys, thank you so much.